Welcome everyone to a game called Bad End Theatre. I don't really know what we're meant to be doing in this game. I've just seen from reviews and other contents that it seems like a good game. Haven't really seen it much, so I don't really know the whole aspect of it. But without further ado, I've already done the tutorial, so know a bit about it. So let's enter. Seems like we've got a decision we can make between the hero, the maid, an underling, and the overlord. I think we should start from left to right, so let's go the hero first. You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your decision has been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures, fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You are told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Whoever puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out, you don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople though. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Beautiful, so dutiful, whatever you want to call it. Bravely slaughter the evil creatures or flee like a coward. Flee like a coward, that just seems like, I don't exactly feel like going up against demons is the smartest idea. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now, your reputation will be ruined. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue the maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle, you're here after all, this is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the overlord. Cut through the demon army, ask if they'll let you in. Let's ask to see if they'll let us in. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down, and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the overlord's chambers. That was easy. The overlord is alone. You ask about the maiden, but the overlord doesn't seem to know who you're talking about. Was she really never here, you wonder? What could have stopped her? The overlord says that she wishes she could help you, but you're the first human that's come here in forever, at least that she knows of. You think of how you probably shouldn't trust her, seeing as she's a demon and all, but you can't really prove it. She's lying either. You apologize for the intrusion, and return home to your village. The maiden was never found. Useless hero ending. Well, that just seems a bit aggressive. So dutiful and diplomatic are now my options. So how about the hero's dutiful? What does that become the maiden? Because I feel like if the maiden and the hero are intertwined, then one should be able to get the hero being dutiful and the maiden actually there, meaning that the hero might come in and slaughter all of the overlord and everything and then save the maiden, right? But so far in the tutorial it seems like everything's a bad ending. But moving on. You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the overlord one day, because you are a beautiful young demon girl. Demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You're in church, you pray to your god, asking why you haven't been born into this role as a maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting the demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, a demon Elling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain what you're made of the village. The demon suddenly jumps you and starts biting a lot. How painful. This plan of yours is completely stupid, you think. Why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything, of course. This was your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate. You guess. Bit by bit, you were swallowed by the demon until you were no more. Consumed maiden ending. Well, reset the stage. So now we've got polite and dutiful. Also, if we go back and pick the... Actually, hero. How about we do the other option that was there? You are the hero. Oh, well, skip. Bravely slaughter the evil creatures. You make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. After a long trek, you make it to the castle front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to see past these monsters to hear them. Let's cut through the demon army. You gather your courage. This is what must be done in order to rescue the maiden. These are all evil demons anyway. The world is much safer without them. Run them out of here. That's what you tell yourself while you kill one another after the other. On your way to the Overlord's chambers, the Overlord appears, demanding to know what the hell you are doing, murdering all her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask her where the maiden is. She feigns ignorance. A convincing act, but you won't be fooled. The maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Think about the poor name of the place where you will hate Richard. You fight the Overlord with everything you've got. You've become strong from the hordes of demons you took down before the final battle. The Overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The Overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job's not yet finished. You search the castle. Unfortunately, you find no sign of the maiden within its walls. It's just as you suspected. She must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil has been banished from this world. But what does it matter if you are too weak to save someone? You stood alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the Overlord's remains, wrap her head in your cape to bring back to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Failed hero ending. Well, this just doesn't seem right. Well, reset the stage. This is when you do this. So it's a bad end. Hero. Ah. The hero slaughters his way through the castle. Is that the I think that might be the underling. Yeah, that's the underling. So we need the underling at some point doing something. Everything is fine. Much very dutiful because I saw the Overlord had something. So we do the Overlord. Okay. You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Except for those pesky humans who kept killing your members of your army. There's even a rule called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is to dethrone you. What's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided peeing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing. If you're being quite honest with yourself, you don't really understand the politics of it. But you remain yourself. Well, you mind yourself that everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their role. You won't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to a higher standard than that. When your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see that point. but the way they're whining about it kinda bothers you. What do you do with the underling? A tyrant is if you tell them to grant them the day off. Just grant them the day off, let's be nice. You tell them to take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. A day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a bit. Being the Overlord sure is great. You awake to a huge commotion outside. A hero has shown up and started totally murdering your soldiers with the Helga. You rush into the battlefield to confront this jerkwad. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you to return the maiden you're holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about, but you can't forgive his actions. You do battle with the hero, but he has grown strong from cutting down your arm. You are unable to defeat him. With decisive swings, he stabs you, cuts you to pieces. You fall, you have failed your subjects, you spit curses weakly, and wish you'd been stronger. Maybe you were never suited to be the Overlord in the first place. The truth was, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you strength. These are your thoughts as you're swallowed by darkness. Conquered Overlord N. Well, that's the other side of the story. Because I've got 4 out of 41 endings. So, Overlord. Bad ending. Beautiful. So... This is what I did. The Overlord begins the story. The Overlord lets the underling have the day off. The Overlord allows the maiden to stay and chat. Polite. Diplomatic. Tyrant. Let's do the underling. You are a demon underling. In service of the Overlord, you aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the Overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're going to go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and questioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? You made her the boss of everything. You complain about the Overlord to your friends. They agree that she's kind of a snob, so she deserves being kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's overthrow her. No, you're sick of this Overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree it's time for a change of management. Your friends suggest maybe you should be the new Overlord. You like the sound of that? You announce your first act of rebellion is to take that day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed and you assure them you'll talk more about the assassination things when you get back, which satisfies them. You sneak out of the castle to have some fun. Change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around the glass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favour to ask. You consider your options. Let's hear her out. You're in a good mood today, and rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you. So this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. The maiden is going on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden. Knowing full well you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologise for disobeying her. I hope the maiden is an interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The Overlord nods and says everything's cool, as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how you can't believe you and your friends even considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look and says, that was a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you. You You decide it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long, your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard and asks them what their big idea is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. You're gonna get rid of the copper overlord, put a new ruler in place. No one say if you're in or out. And being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, that sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead? And to question your loyalty to their cause. I know, that's cool. You tell them that you were just joking and clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say you were always terrible at jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it is to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend like you're innocent all along. But beneath your shield of false confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle and talk more about the plan, but you're curious if they have any idea how they want to talk about this. They figure they just lock her in a room, set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directional thugs. Directionless thugs. Useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. They'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on. And while showing deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree. It's just that you play the assassin. You really don't want it to come down to this. You can't go back now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. And your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. They talk off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Fudge. The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlords everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon run back to back you up, except they don't. They blame you for the whole thing on you. They clearly have no idea, and that they were just going with the flow. Too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice there. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence, regardless of who led this conspiracy. I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately, all she does is sleep you down to her strength. You hear your traitorous friends mutter something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans, and the room bursts into flames. You pound at the door screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them, and wish he'd get the chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her, but the Overlord doesn't hear your ideas. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Traitorous underling ending. Let's reset this. That was pretty long. Can we try and get all of this from... You are the Overlord. You live in a castle. Oh, wait, no, we've already seen that. Skip. Tell them to get back to work. You give them a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether they like it or not. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for all this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down for your nice and comfy Overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick. Just another one of your amazing talents as an Overlord. You wake up to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. You thought you told the underling to do their job, not drag strangers into your room. Looks like they took an unauthorized break away from the castle. You scold them, but ultimately, you're a little interested in this guest, so you let them off easy. That underling's not so bad. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You'll appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you've never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around it. She insists that she stays and talks to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Let her stay for a while. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She's just got here. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise. The demons are not at all what she'd expect them to be. You are glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kind of things. You also bring up how you always instructed your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them, and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time and that you are actually a super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people of her village are very exhausted at times. She says, you can't tell if she's into you or not. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. He was apparently searching for the maiden who was rumoured to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequence. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Okay. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that. You decide, with the hero and the maiden gone, you plop down in your comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your rooms feel so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden and hero burst into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told that the group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised. How nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that humans are alive. They're followed by another group of demons crying that everything was the first underling's idea. Everyone is shouting over each other, and it's very annoying. You yell for them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that the servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment, and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure if you have the strength to back it up, though, thankfully, all you do is sleep. The group of demons start muttering something about going back to plan A and suddenly slam the door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the doors, cursing their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, and display the cowardly demons on the other side. This is how you're dying, burned alive in your own room, by those you thought you could trust. You'd have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You know this maiden crime. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment you spoke to her. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration you don't even know what to do. Grab the underling. Those traitors blamed everything on them. They cry for mercy, saying they dragged them to this plot. They'd be killed if they took your side. They cry that they didn't want to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. You release the underling. You release the underling. Killing them won't make you feel any better. Besides, you've already gotten their punishment. You'll all burn together. Overlord's true end. Before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end? You say to yourself. What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you are. This is bad end theatre. Is there pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you'd be shown when you entered this place. He's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cars. You started to relate to their flaws, their plies. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theatre. My lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Oh, come to think of it, you've reached the first true end very quickly. I'm impressed. But there's no need to rush, please take your time while exploring all these horrible possibilities. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave it to you, dear guest. For seeing that fucking... What's that? What's this? Fluid? I don't know. So we've reached all to the... okay, right, so we have to do it like... Oh, okay. So, I'm guessing that no matter what, if I'm possessive, the claims that was an ending. That was an ending. That was the true end, but I'm guessing, because that... If you remember, all the screen was pink, blue, purple, and orange, all the colours. That was the colour scheme of the true end, which I believe that is every single end to that. So for every single ending, the Overlord has to be merciful, otherwise you can't do it. The Maiden, I believe, has to be something else. Curious, maybe, to come back. But the Endling has to be disloyal. And the hero has to be diplomatic. The hero has to be diplomatic for his true end, or he can flee, come back, but then we still need that maiden. We've got all of them. We got the merciful Overlord, the diplomatic hero, and the disloyal underling. We need a certain role for the maiden at the moment, but I don't know what that could be. But seeing that I think we've just run out of time for this video, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.